Cheers, everyone. Welcome to the Mixers Toasted Rye Whiskey Room. What is up? Yeah, who's on my you're on my right. They're right too. It's
Left,
Jeremy Siers.
Right, left.
What's up? Say hi, Jeremy. What's going on, man?
What's up, guys? How's everybody going tonight?
Yeah, so me and Jeremy have been talking for a while about doing a live stream together. I had sent him a box of samples that we talked about, some stuff that he never had. And what I really wanted him to do was to sit down with it and, maybe start pairing some cigars with it. And he came up with a couple of ideas. So we're obviously not going to be able to smoke about 10 different cigars tonight. So we picked two tonight to have with some whiskeys. I have a bunch here. Jeremy has his samples. I want to say hi to everyone in the chat. I'm doing it Tuesday night tonight because that was kind of what worked with our schedule. So what I did was, guys, so tonight I switched with Scott from my bourbon journey. He usually goes live around this time. So what we're going to be doing is Scott from my bourbon journey is going to be taking my slot tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We're going to be talking NFL draft, some of the aftermath of that, drinking some good whiskey and just hanging out. So tune in tomorrow night for that. And obviously we'll be leading up to the bourbon. We're going to be going until 9 o'clock, leading up to the Bourbon Junkies. You guys have probably seen Jeremy on their channel too. So, and also next week, I did want to mention as well that my normal spot will be 9 o'clock. And I'm very, very, very excited. So next week on Wednesday night, I'm going to have Dr. Patrick Heiss from Wilderness Trail on the channel. Wilderness Trail, the up and coming. I don't think they're up and coming anymore. They are a powerhouse of distillery right now. And Dr. Patrick Heiss is, one of the main people behind the type of bourbon and whiskey that they're churning out over there. We're going to get real nerdy, get real detailed with him. It's going to be a fucking awesome.
You'll love it. You'll love it.
Going to love it. So let me say hi to the people in the chat here. And before we get started, had our pre-gamers in here, of course, Trev Wilson.
Trev,
Christopher David, Michael J. Wheels, Radoslav Trapp, Scott from my bourbon journey, Speak of the Devil.
I saw Scott in there.
Yeah. Karen B4, thank you so much. Just became a legendary drummer on my Patreon. Thank you so much. Douglas Pappas here, another legendary drummer. Joseph Brazo, he likes a good cigar. I'm sure he's excited for tonight. Zeb Taylor, everyone else jumping in here. I'll say hi as we go along. If you guys have any questions for Jeremy, I will definitely pop them on the screen. Hey, Tim Evans, Robot Scott's here. Tammy Brennicke's here. So should be a very, very fun night.
Nice.
So also want to mention, hey, guys, thanks for your support out there. We hit 12,000 subs.
Congrats on that, brother.
Literally like 10 minutes ago. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Congrats on that.
Yeah, congrats. So thanks for all the support, everybody, for watching. So tonight it's about cigars and whiskey, and we're gonna have an awesome time.
Oh, yeah.
Jeremy, for those of you that may not know you, tell them I got your graphics everywhere around the screen.
Dude, you got it out. It's nice.
Yeah. So if anyone doesn't know what man shit means in Leaf and Barrel, why don't you clue them in?
Man shit is a segment, and Leaf and Barrel are both segments on my channels, where I do just everything, really. I have the epitome of a channel they tell you not to do on YouTube. They tell you to be very specific and like have a YouTube channel about a niche. And my channel is about the opposite of that. It's about everything. So basically anything man shit related, right? So whiskey, knives. I'm actually going to start doing some gun content on my second channel. Just anything man related, man centric I do on my channels.
Man centric, yeah. Cigars, knives, beard products.
beard
products. Dude, just once I want you to hold a cat and just smoke your beard.
I'm going to do a barbecue. I'm going to do a video about my favorite pellet smoker soon and my favorite rib smoking recipe. So, I mean, like,
oh, dude, I'm like looking at a pellet smoker right now. So what's your
Traeger?
Is it Traeger?
Traeger.
Because that's the one I'm looking at.
Here's the thing, man. I got a Pit Boss right now, but I've been wanting to get this Traeger for a while because Traegers are actually a little nicer.
Yeah.
But pellet smokers in general will change your life, bro. They will change your life. Because I used to smoke with like the old school big fire on the side. You throw whole logs in there and like, do the whole deal.
Yeah. When I first started smoking, when I smoked my first pork butt, to make some good pulled pork, man. It was old school. I was like, temperature gauge, logs in the fire. It was
the problem with that though is it's a pain in the ass, and you got something like a pork butt you got to smoke for like 13 to 18 hours depending on how big of a
your day shot.
Your whole day shot. You're out there feeding logs of this fucking thing. You're checking temperatures. You're opening the baffles and closing them, trying to keep your temperature right.
Exactly.
Pain in the ass. Do those pellet smokers. You load them with pellets, whatever flavor pellet you want. You crank that bitch on the temperature you need, and you're good to go.
So what's incredible about the Traegers is it's got a fucking convection fan in there.
Yeah, man.
So the thing just cooks everything real even. I had a couple of meals from a Traeger, and it was delicious.
Pizzas in that bitch. It's that good.
Yeah. I know a buddy of mine just goes out. He has he's got a couple of chickens at home. He goes, gets fresh eggs, pops them on the Traeger, and makes fresh eggs in the morning.
Cook anything on that thing, man.
Yeah.
It's the way to go. It's my next smoker for sure. I'm trying.
Bernie says Yoder, I think, is the best pellet smoker.
Those bitches are expensive though. Hot damn. I think that's the one Joe Rogan uses.
Oh, really?
If I'm not mistaken. I think I looked at those at one point, and I want to say like they start at a couple grand.
I gotta look one of those things up.
Like, I think they start at around a couple grand. If I could be wrong, don't hold me to that. But I remember looking at them at one point because I'm pretty sure that's the ones that Joe Rogan uses. And like the high end, most expensive Traeger is 2,000. Like everything that you can get is $2,000. I think Yoder starts about there.
Yeah.
So
but the idea of just like plugging it in and just set it, forget it, let it cook. I mean,
it's great, bro.
Great, man.
Fantastic.
Yeah, fan-fucking-tastic. So we're starting off tonight, guys, with some Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. Figured it'd start off something nice and sweet.
Little warm-up whiskey.
But we're gonna be drinking some high octane shit tonight. So what I sent Jeremy to try, because I personally thought they might go good with a cigar. And you guys have heard me talk about this one. We just tried it. It was number one in my taste off last week, which is the Bellmead Brandy Cask.
Oh, we're going to get into it.
Which I think will be amazing with a cigar. One that Jeremy never tried, but I got to send him a sample, was the Mixers Toasted Rye, because he's the rye guy. He likes his rye.
So good.
Yeah. And
marshmallows. It's so good.
Sent him the Foregate with batch one. You guys heard us talk about this. This is finished in both sherry. It was finished in barrels that had rum that was aged in sherry casks. So
that's some Dr. Kevorkian shit there.
I don't even. I probably fucked that up the way I said it, but yeah,
no, it's good.
And then we might go into some William LaRue Weller, some Thomas Handy. So we have some really good whiskeys on deck to pair with some of these cigars. Jeremy was kind enough to send me to send me what maybe a couple cigars to look at. So I was able to find 2 of them today. So we are locked and loaded and ready to go, man.
Couple hitters. Which one you want to start with, man? Which cigar and what bourbon you want to start with? Do you want to hit that Bellmead off the rip, or you want to go? What's the proof on the Bellmead?
So the Bellmead comes in at 118.8.
What about the Foregate and the
Foregate is 123.4.
Toasted is like one.
Mixers is about 110.
So either personal suggestion would be either the Bellmead or the Toasted. Start in at the lower proof and work up.
Yeah, let's go with the Toasted Barrel, man. I haven't had that in a while.
Okay.
Hey, the Junkies are in the house. What's up, man?
Junkies.
Yes, Dan, I will be smoking a cigar tonight. I'm excited.
Dan.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan.
Dan.
Me and Dan talk on the phone way too much. me and Dan are very similarly minded people, and we're both talkers, and we have a lot of the same hobbies and interests. So we get on the damn phone, and it's like 2 hours later, we're like, well, I had shit I needed to do, so we need to fucking go. But he's a good dude, man. I love Dan.
All right, so out of the 2 cigars, which one? Yeah, I love Dan. Me and Dan, when I don't talk to him as much, I haven't talked to him as much lately, but when we get on the phone, we don't shut up.
Dude, he's a fun guy, man. You can't not like that guy, right?
Yeah,
like you just can't not like him.
Yeah, you can't.
If you don't like him, then you're fucking weird. I don't know, man. They're both really good cigars. The whiskey, the Intemperate, the 2 cigars. Did you say which cigars we had here?
Yeah, I have the so we have the Intemperance Whiskey Rebellion. And the other one is the Where the undercrown, yeah, the undercrown.
Undercrown Maduro.
Maduro.
I don't know, man. I mean, I love both of these cigars, so it's hard for me to pick between the two.
I kind of like, let's start with the undercrown because I think, I don't know, just the smell of it. It's not as sweet as the Rebellion.
No, it's good though.
So
nice Maduro.
Yeah.
How you like to cut your cigars, Jason? You a straight cut kind of guy?
What's that?
You a straight cut kind of guy, or a V cut, or a punch, or what?
Straight cut, and I literally write on the I try to get on the very extreme edge.
Just a tip, just for a second.
Just a tip, just for a second, just to let it feel it.
Just to see. I would agree with you on the straight cut. If you're going to straight cut, for sure. But I really have a fondness for a V cut. I turned Dan and them onto these, and I'm going to do the same for you. These Colibri V cutters, man. It is a really nice cutter, and I love it. And it cuts a little camel toe in it, right? So,
I actually wanted to ask you. So, with all the, there's a ton of different types of cigars. Are you fond of the torpedo ones? I haven't had one of those yet. With the tapered edge.
Yeah, I am. I like them. More of like a perfecto or a torpedo or a pyramid type situation, depending. The perfectos usually are kind of tapered at both tips. Yeah, I like them a lot. And sometimes they're great because especially like a perfecto that's tapered on both ends, a lot of times the change in the wrapper to filler ratio as you're going through the cigar will give you some transitions and kind of make the cigar a little more interesting. But it depends, everybody's got their own thing, but I do like them in general.
Joseph Brazel says undercrown is rather earthy, goes really well with a spicier bourbon. Well, I'm glad we're starting with a rye.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a earthy. It's your typical Maduro, right? Got your earth, your leathers.
Yep.
All those happy, lovely things that go really great with coffee. I love Maduros with coffee also.
So one thing I learned early on with cigars is the color being so dark doesn't always, it doesn't always translate to the fact that it's like super dark or super strong.
No,
really the coating of the cigar, the darkness of it really has to do with how ripe it is. And that's what
well, it's just a kind of leaf they use, right? So
exactly. And that's what a Maduro, the word means ripe. So
right. So like a lot of your Connecticut broadleafs and a lot of your other real dark wrappers like that, your San Andreas, your can't think of them off the top of my head. I'm brain farting. I'm in a partial food coma. I was telling Jason before the live stream, I ate about a ton of Mexican food because it's Cinco de Mayo, which A, has me in a bit of a food coma. B, is not the best food to eat prior to having cigars and whiskey. But nevertheless, it's Cinco de Mayo, so I felt.
Oh, that's right. So happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone. Hope you're having a good time. Thanks for joining tonight. We just got Robert K. Metz came in with a $5 super chat. Says my two favorite YouTubers together drinking bourbon and smoking cigars. Epic.
Oh yeah, Robert, my man. Robert, my man. My favorite actually was yesterday, man. May the 4th be with you. Like that's like one of my favorite days of the year. It's just a fun day. So is that actually National Star Wars Day, or have they just kind of taken it over because of
they kind of dubbed it May the 4th to be Star Wars Day? I don't remember that starting that long ago though.
So it's not like a real thing. It's just like a social media thing.
Yeah.
Nowhere on the calendar does it say National Star Wars Day or anything.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. That's a good one. And all cigars, you're going to occasionally get a turd. You're just going to occasionally get one that has a shitty draw or it's got a clog in it or whatever. But these undercrowns, but the story behind undercrowns is interesting. If you've never heard it, is the Liga Privada series that Drew Estate makes is a hugely popular series with Drew Estate, right? Really high-end tobacco. It's hard to grow. It's fairly rare. Awesome cigars. Well, the rollers were smoking the shit out of it because it was such good tobacco. And the guys at Drew Estate were like, look, you guys got to stop smoking all this damn tobacco. It's expensive and we need to sell it. So they came up with the undercrown to try to match and make a similar flavor profile in a similar cigar without using the expensive Liga Privada tobacco. And these undercrowns are excellent, man. And they're a lot cheaper. So Liga Privada run you $14 to $16 usually, depending on where you live. You can usually get these usually sub $8. What did you get this for? Do you remember? Usually $8, $9.
I don't remember offhand because it was a damn, curbside pickup.
Oh yeah. My ABC actually let people go into it.
I think it was about $10, $12 for this. I think.
Dude, that Michner's. This is another, and this like kind of earthy, leathery, kind of awesome cigar. To me, when you're smoking cigars that are like that and you drink a sweeter, like something like the Michner's that to me, I taste roasted marshmallows in it a lot. It makes it even sweeter, right?
Yeah.
So you get like the spiciness of the rye on the front, kind of a little tickle on your tongue, and then all this sweetness comes in after you swallow and it kind of air hits it.
So when you're looking to pair whiskey with a cigar, what things between the cigar and the whiskey you're looking for that you think would go well together?
It's people have asked me that, and it's so damn confusing because it's kind of like any other pairing, right? Things that you think would work sometimes don't, and sometimes things that you think wouldn't work do. The main thing that I try to stick to is I try to pair up horsepowers, right? So if it's and I'm saying horsepower as a generalization. So if you're smoking a strong, really robust, peppery, just fucking in your face, knock your teeth out, 20 horsepower, 30 horsepower cigar, you don't want to grab like a little pissy 80 proof thin whiskey that doesn't have a lot of flavor because it's just going to drown it out. And conversely, if you're drinking a barrel proof, if you're grabbing some Stag Junior, you don't want to grab like a Davidoff because that's a softer, kind of easier going cigar.
Yeah.
That's my personal way I approach it. I approach it like that, and then I play around with the flavors, Yeah.
This is good, man. This cigar is really, and I'm loving it with the rye.
There's such a good draw.
Yeah.
And they've got this really nice, like I said, earthy, leathery. I don't get a lot of pepper in undercrowns. It's mostly like earth, leather. And then toward the end, you get a little bit of that like dark cocoa or maybe like a little bit of espresso.
So that's what I'm getting with the whiskey. All of a sudden I got this beautiful chocolate note.
Right.
And definitely a cigar is bringing that out, which is really nice, which is what happens when I actually go to the double oaked. If you ever had the double oaked, you said with a cigar, it's already a chocolatey bourbon. You have it with a cigar and holy shit, it just takes off.
I'm so mad that Michter's does not pump this stuff out more available.
Like, I know. It sucks, right?
It's just so good, man. It's so good.
So you started the Leaf and Barrel series pretty recently, right? You only,
I don't know, 3-4 months ago, maybe? Something like that.
Yeah.
The Leaf and Barrel series started as a necessity due to YouTube restrictions. So
I've
always been a fan of whiskey and cigars. I've been drinking whiskey and smoking cigars for years and years and years. But I didn't put a lot of them on the channel. And then because the channel is so diverse and I do a little bit of everything, I said, well, shit, I do all this other man stuff. If I love cigars and whiskey, obviously a lot of other people would. Why don't I fucking put that on the channel too, right? But then YouTube threw in this like no tobacco rule, right? And they started monetizing channels and doing all kinds of craziness that YouTube does sometimes. So I split the tobacco stuff off and put it on my secondary channel, which is Jeremy Siers After Hours.
Yeah.
So that way I could keep my main channel monetized and it wasn't any jeopardy because of content that YouTube didn't particularly like. And then I did the Leaf and Barrel as a way to join the two channels. So I do the barrel part on the main channel where I do the whiskey review. And then after that, I carry over and do a second video with the leaf part, which is a cigar part on my second channel.
Yeah.
I would have that as like one series that I did all in one video if it wasn't for YouTube and not being a fan of cigars. So I split them up.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a fear with some of the whiskey channels too. We thought it was going to go that way. We were all talking about it with having the alcohol on there. So,
and technically, here's the thing. Technically, according to their rules that I've read, alcohol falls into the same category, but I just don't think they enforce it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
They are enforcing it with cigars heavily, though.
I would agree. Yeah, I've seen a lot of crazy things happen with some of the cigar channels.
Yes. Oh, what's this guy? Olivia Joseph. How do you say his last name?
We say Brazers, but it's actually Brazo. That's how you say it.
Brazo.
Yep.
Olivia V goes with any bourbon, and RR Single Barrel goes with any cigar. Trust me, I don't disagree. Olivia V's are, matter of fact, the Olivia V Milanio, I think I'm saying that correctly.
Which one?
Olivia V, I think it's called a Milanio.
Okay.
I'm a little redneck. I'm from the South, so it comes out Milanio, and that's probably not how you pronounce it at all. But it seems like almost every year that's in like the top 20 cigars. Like that hits in that Cigar Aficionado or some cigar list in the top 20 cigars almost every year. It's
so you're originally from Kentucky, aren't you?
Yeah. Yep. Originally from Kentucky, and then I lived in Georgia for a while. I even lived in Baltimore. I lived in the Yankee state for a minute. I lived up in Baltimore, Maryland for a few years. And I'm not saying Yankee in a mean way. I actually love a lot of people from the North. But
take it easy there, buddy.
Yeah, I was like, hey, who the fuck are you calling a Yank?
Yankee. I'm a Mets fan, first of all.
It was a loving term. I wasn't saying it in a derogatory fashion, but I lived up there for a little while, and then I've lived in Florida for 20 some odd years. So I've spent the most of my life in the dirty South.
The dirty.
Which is where some of the slang the twang comes out in me every now and then, especially if you get me around my kinfolk.
So I know you like ryes. I saw a couple of your videos.
What's funny about that? I used to not like ryes.
Yeah. How long ago did you start getting into ryes?
Probably about, I would say, less than a year ago.
Really?
Yeah. For the longest time, you know why? Because I had a couple, and I still don't like them. I had a couple of the like the bullet type ryes.
Oh yeah.
Very like minty, very like eucalyptus-y kind of that thing. And I'm not a huge fan of that, right? So
you're a Kentucky rye man. You like the sweet ryes.
I like the sweet ryes. I don't mind a little spice if it's got some sweet in it, but I just don't want to taste like I've got a fucking Halls in my mouth. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I'm not into that.
Scott on my bourbon journey says, "Oh boy, cousin Vinny will be making a stop at Jeremy's place."
I'm like, so I was like, I'm not saying that in a mean way. I love everybody. We're very inclusionary around here.
Yes, we like to tell you, Italian is the same. Everybody loves them. It's okay.
Well, people say that I talk like Italians because when I talk, I'm always moving my hands.
You do move your hands around. You do move your hands around. Maybe that's why I like watching you.
Yeah, people say, they're like, "Are you Italian?" I'm like, "No," but hey.
We got Brent, Cheer Jason, Jeremy, cigar and bourbon. Cigar is always better with a little whiskey. Absolutely, man. Everyone check out Oak and Smoke whiskey reviews if you haven't yet. Then we got Andrew Buchanan came in. Question for both of you. What is your favorite whiskey and cigar pairing?
I get this on every live stream I ever do.
Every live stream you ever go on?
It's so tough, man, because there's so many good ones, right? I tell you, one of the ones I did recently, and I really, really liked it. Shit. What was it? I just did a review about it. It was what was the cigar I paired with it? Damn it, I'm gonna have to consult my thing. I forgot what the cigar was, but
I know you keep a journal, so what does it say?
Dude, it's over there though. I can't get to it without knocking over this whole freaking laptop and camera. I paired, I can't remember what cigar it was, but I paired it with a Russell Reserve.
Oh, there you go.
And I wasn't crazy about, I mean, I liked the cigar, but I would give the cigar like a C+, B-, right? I put it with Russell Reserve, man, and it was one of my favorite ones of pairings I've had lately. I'm trying to remember what it was. I want to say it was a Long Live the King, Mad Motherfucker. Wasn't it a Long Live the King, Mad Motherfucker? I think it was. I think that was what it was.
Hey, Eric, in the house. What's up, Eric?
Those are very good cigars. They're Caldwell cigars. Long Live the King, Mad MF. It's a Maduro version of the Long Live the King cigar, and it is delicious.
So the first introduction to cigar I had was a Macanudo. It was at a wedding.
Isn't that everybody's? I think everybody's a Macanudo.
Yeah, I think it's so cliche, but that's what it was. Everyone was handing them out at a wedding that I went to. That's also the ubiquitous time everyone gets their first cigar.
Yep.
So, and I remember having it with a glass of Grand Marnier.
Okay.
There's that orange liqueur.
which
And
might be a little weird. I don't feel like orange would go
very
well.
weird. It was so sweet, and I'm like, this is fucking weird. I don't like it together. I went and got a pour of Wild Turkey 101 and liked it way better.
Oh, dude. You know, strangely, I'm not a big wine guy, right? Like, I don't love it. But you know what I found does pair pretty good with cigars? I took the wife, this is back when she was trying to get me to marry her and actually would smoke cigars with me. And then we got married and she's like, fuck you, cigars stink. Go smoke upstairs and get away from me. But she's not a big fan of whiskey. So we went to they had a port wine and cigar pairing at this place.
Okay.
And port wines actually pair pretty damn well with cigars. Pretty nice.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Because port wines have a little more ass on them. You know what I mean? They're a little more than just your standard wine.
Yeah, they got a little bit more balls than like a liqueur. You know what I mean? Right.
They hold up pretty good to a cigar. And there was a sommelier or whatever you call people that do ports and stuff. And they had the pairings all paired out purposefully and whatnot. And they were really enjoyable together, man. I enjoyed it.
I'm loving this this cigar, man. This is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I finished the I finished the Mixer, so I'm moving on to another one here.
So before you move on to the other one,
yeah.
What would you rank the pairing there?
So let me take one more sip here.
I am ranking this pretty high, man. I would give this like a solid A because I'm really liking, and see, that's the weird thing too, right? So, and sorry, I'm a little wordy. I'm sure if you've watched my channel, you realize I talk a lot. But
no, but I would agree that, and we said it before, this cigar brought out a chocolate note in this that I wouldn't have gotten, I don't think,
right,
without the cigar. So chocolate is something I haven't really gotten from Mixers Toasted.
And it pulled it out for you.
Definitely, maybe it was faintly there, but this absolutely pulled it out.
And see, that's the thing, right? So that's why when I said, you asked me, how do I approach pairings? It's weird because there's several schools of thought there, right? So, and I always fuck up how to word it, but basically one school of thought is pick a cigar that complements the whiskey, right? Yeah. So similar flavors. And then there's also the contrasting thing, right? So you get like a kind of a sweeter, nice bourbon and you get a real earthy cigars, and they're very contrasting flavors, but they bring out interesting things in one another.
Yeah. Plus the spice that there's, so, the Mixers, well, first, before we get into that, I want to say thank you to Will Henderson. 4962 super chat says, I had some Dovetail and a Nat Sherman Timeless this past weekend. Awesome. Congrats on 12K. Oh, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Is it Nate or Nat? I never know. Because I mispronounce shit horribly all the time, but those are good cigars. I've had a few of those and I've really enjoyed all of them.
Eric Waite, who is a wine sommelier, he says wine pairings and cigar service was part of the original master sommelier exam in the UK.
Oh, nice.
That's really interesting.
Dude, I'm telling you, the ports, like I said, I'm not a huge wine guy, but the port wines, with the right one, you get somebody that knows what the hell they're talking about and they put them together. It's a beautiful thing.
Ooh. This pairing is up there, man. I like this one a lot. I love that it's bringing out the chocolate in the Mixers. That's fucking so good. When
you smoke cigars, do you retrohale?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that aren't big into cigars, and I'm not saying you're not, but they don't know about the retrohaling. And that really, when I learned how to retrohale, changed my whole situation with cigars.
I actually just learned about that maybe about 2 months ago.
And did you notice a huge difference in what you tasted when you started doing it?
Absolutely. Like miles ahead.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Donald Rance has a quick question for you. He says, what's a good whiskey to pair with Partagas or Monte Cristo Puritos?
I don't know about the Partagas. I'm not familiar with those. Monte Cristos, I don't know if I've had that particular Monte Cristo, but in general, most of the Monte Cristos I've had are pretty more on the mild side, right? So I would tend to pair a little bit of a milder bourbon with it. Anything Woodford makes would probably be pretty tasty. This Mixers would actually go pretty well with it, even though it's a little bit of a higher proof. It's not a smack you in the mouth kind of bourbon, right? So it would go really good. Mixers American whiskey is a really smooth, easy drinking whiskey, and I think that would go well with the Monte Cristo. One of my favorite Monte Cristos is the Monte Cristo Espada. That is a great Monte Cristo. So I don't know if that helps answer his question. But the Espada is fantastic.
Eric Evanson, we are drinking an Undercrown. Undercrown. Undercrown Maduro. There's the label.
There's the dude right there.
There's the dude.
There's a dude, Undercrown Maduro. All the Undercrowns are good. They make a shade and they make a sun-grown.
Whiskey Straight Out. What is a retrohale? So
basically, a retrohale is where, and you got to be careful when you do it.
Yes, you do, because the first time I did it, I thought I was going to die.
And it's not, all cigars are not great for retrohaling. I've had some super peppery, like smack you in the mouth cigars that you have to go super easy on the retrohale or it just feels like your nose is on fire. A retrohale is where you get your olfactory situation involved to help with your taste. So you take a puff off the cigar. And then you breathe most of it out your mouth. And then toward the very end, you kind of push out your mouth and your nose. You kind of, so that some of the smoke passes through your nose.
Yes.
And it gets that, your smell involved, which is most of your sense of taste, right? So the whole old adage of if you plug your nose and you try to taste something, you can't taste it. Well, it's the same thing. If you're not blowing a little bit of that smoke through the cigar, you're only getting part of the flavor.
Yeah, so having it go through the nose is what, like, I had to get used to that aspect of it. But once you kind of get used to it, yeah, flavors come out that you wouldn't normally get just from regular inhale, exhale.
And you know what you can do, and I don't know if you've ever done this, Jason, but I found some of those cigars that are super like smack you in the mouth cigars that it's hard to retrohale because it burns even with a little bit.
Yeah.
Even if after you blow basically all the smoke out, if you still just kind of go and like blow out your, you probably can't hear that, but I was blowing out my nose. If you just close your mouth and blow out your nose as you're kind of, you know, just that residual left gets you that kind of thing, right? Without blowing any of the actual smoke out. Because some cigars, man, it hurts to retrohale. It's like your eyes water and shit. You're like, oh god.
Yeah, I made sure the one I tried it first with was very light. I don't want to die.
Yeah, you don't want to practice retrohaling on a smack you in the mouth cigar. No doubt about it.
Yeah, Whiskey Padawan has a question for you. Jeremy, what would you pair with a Caldwell Eastern Standard? It has such a good flavor, so I couldn't figure out what to pair with it. Ended up having it solo.
Man, Caldwell makes just all good shit. Most of his stuff is kind of middle of the road, right? And if I remember, it's been a long time since I had an Eastern Standard, so I'm trying to remember that cigar in my head. But most of Caldwell stuff is kind of, it's not punch you in the teeth and it's not super mellow. To me, he lives kind of in that middle area, kind of happy spot, right? So really, I mean, dude, I think a Russell Reserve might go really well with it. It went really well with that Caldwell Maduro that I had. That was delicious. Russell Reserve would be a good go-to. Some double oaked would be good.
First of all, Woodford Reserve double oaked. Woodford Reserve double oaked is like a universal. That thing just seems to go well with everything, especially with a cigar, with food. I don't know. So
anytime you have a question,
maybe dessert. It's just it's a great whiskey pairer.
Anytime you have the question, what should I pair with this? You can't go wrong with double oaked.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that would ever be a bad pairing.
Yeah. I do not disagree with you. It's
another one that falls in that wheelhouse for me is most of the Whiskey Row series from Old Forester. Like,
dude, oh my God, the 1910. I pulled that out too. I haven't had that with a cigar yet.
You know what Dan turned me on to? I got to give him a little props for this. I don't know if he's still in the chat or not, but I got to give Dan some props. I had not had this, and it is a phenomenal whiskey cigar. Is Peerless Bourbon, not the Peerless Rye. The Peerless Rye is a good cigar bourbon or whiskey rye, but the Peerless Bourbon, there's something about it, man. It is dynamite with a cigar.
Peerless Bourbon. I got to try that. I got one over there.
Oh, dude, get a little sip of it. I know it's breaking our thing, but get you a little sip of it with it, dude. It'll be good with this cigar. I guarantee it.
I'm gonna get a little sip, and hold on. Let me see if I can. Here, I'm gonna throw this question up while I go get it for you.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
What is it? What other bourbons are there? Are there a double oaked? What got Jim Beam double oaked and Woodford Reserve double oaked? You got. What other bourbons out there are double oaked? I mean, there's a bunch, right?
That are double oaked?
Yeah. So there's,
Old Forester 1910 is technically double oaked.
Right.
You have
Woodford's double oaked, and then he mentioned Jim Beam has a double oaked. I've never had
Jim Beam. Yeah, Jim Beam is a double oaked. You can do anything. I mean, double oaked also can be technically a finished bourbon too. But if you're just looking for straight up double oaked, any Mixers technically will fall in that category because they toast and age. So any bourbon I feel that you have that where the company will toast the barrel before they age it actually gives you really good complementary flavors to a cigar.
I'm so upset this is gone.
I'll send you more, man, if you want.
Dude, there's going to be memes now of me go. I mean, that's just not a good meme you want of yourself on the internet. Did you have it?
I'm having it right now. I just took a nice deep inhale of this, so now I'm gonna try with the bourbon here.
I was talking to Dan about this. Do you get just a hint, just a whiff of Texas whiskey in that?
You're not wrong.
You get just a hint of Texas whiskey in that Peerless. It's got
or Dan's not wrong.
No, dude, Dan is. It's a fucking outstanding bourbon for cigars. There's something about the flavor profile of that bourbon that does go really nicely with cigars.
Dude, that's so fucking weird. He's right.
Don't you hate it? You're like, fuck you, Dan.
No, I mean, listen, I would trust Dan with knowledge of cigars. He smokes a lot more than I do, but but when it comes to when you said it brings out kind of a Texas flavor profile, it totally does. What the fuck? It's made in Louisville. What the hell?
Dude, and it brings out that little bit of it's that Texas twang that I can never put my finger on with Texas whiskey, right?
I call it the Texas funk. It's a cross between like a dusty like barn, I don't know, like an old bar like you walk into, like old leather and like dust and like wood.
Do you get a twinge of dark fruit? Like raisin. That's
but I get that up front. I don't get it on the back end. I get the Texas funk, but on the front, I get the fruit. Yeah,
it's a weird thing, man. It's a really, really. I had passed that bottle up numerous times because it's pretty young, right? Like that bourbon's held, I think 3-4 years max, because Peerless hadn't been back around for that long.
Yeah, this is only when they first released it. Yeah, I was about 3 or 4 years old.
Right. So I mean, you're not talking about a terribly old whiskey there. So I had kind of overlooked it, and I'm like, ryes don't generally need as much age on them to be pretty good, but bourbon's young kind of can sometimes be a little.
So when we talked about Wilderness Trail earlier, Wilderness Trail and Peerless, and even New Riff, those are three of the kind of the main newer bourbon guys on the block that are making some incredible stuff that's young.
Right.
So it really depends on. So probably pairing it with that stuff can be pretty delicious.
Dude, I don't know if you can tell how white the ash is on that cigar.
Oh yeah, I noticed it when it was first started going down, how white it is.
It's just a white. It's a nice ash on it. It's just got a good draw. I mean, it's.
Hey, what's up? Michael Klein is in the house. How you doing, man?
Klein, you dirty son bitch. Where have you been, bitch?
So did you hear about do you know about Michael Klein going head to head with a bunch of people, doing some blind tastings?
No. Well, I think I've heard in some of the lives people have it's got brought up. So he's like kind of been going around doing blind tastings, kind of challenging all the whiskey folks, right?
Yeah, he's been kind of kicking
people's asses from what I understand.
He's been kicking ass and taking names. I think I'm the only one that handed him his first loss.
Really?
Yeah, it was literally a squeaker. It was a squeaker.
Klein's got a pretty crazy whiskey collection, I believe.
He does. So, he does not buy cheap shit. He knows his shit.
The dude has developed a palate. He's had some whiskey.
Joseph Brazo, I've been smoking cigars since 1995. When I quit cigarettes, I'm your Huckleberry.
Your Huckleberry, baby. I've been smoking. Me. Somebody said something to me the other day. Oh, I know what it was. Some fucking smart ass, because there's always some asshole in YouTube that has to leave some fucking comment. So I went a little dark there for a second.
There's always one.
But he was like, oh yeah, smoking cigars, everybody's a damn genius. Everybody's a critic now, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, I've been smoking cigars for like probably 20 years. Probably.
Oh, wow. Oh yes, I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry. 80 Bourbon Junkie says he handed Klein his first loss, good sir. Apparently. I have to go back to the videotape. When did that happen?
We'll have to review that. Can we review that footage, please, to make sure that Dan is not laying false
accusations? Trev Wilson is the master moderator. Can he pull up the instant replay on that?
Can we see an instant replay, please? We're going to need to do a review on the field.
Hey, we got Bourbon Lens in the house. Great podcast. Everyone go check out Bourbon Lens. Thanks for tuning in, man.
Bourbon Lens. Wait, I think I know. I want to say he comments on some of my Instagram stuff sometimes.
Yeah, he's a big fan of yours.
Yeah. I know that guy. Hey, what's up, buddy?
All right, so let's pour the. I can't wait to get your take on the Bellamy brandy cask.
All right, let's get it. So let's get after it.
Let's get after that shit. Pour it. I want you to kind of nose it and taste it first, and then get into the, and then try it with the cigar. Because
that was almost a fucking. Almost did the long pour, and these bottles do the glug glug glug, and I almost ended up with bell meat on the dick. That would have been bad. Dude, that's dark.
Yeah, so this spent 2 years. 2 years.
I mean,
in brandy casks that they sourced from World War II.
Is that like Garrison Brothers dark, or is it just me?
No, it's Garrison Brothers dark. It's almost, yeah. Look at that. I'll take a look at.
I mean, that shit. Yeah, dude. I mean.
But listen, 2 years in a cask that old, I mean, it's going to impart some color.
Man, that's...
Chad Black with a $5 super chat. What would be a good Texas whiskey to try? Also, have y'all tried the Drew Estate Kentucky Fire Cured?
Drew Estate, yes. Kentucky Fire Cureds are great. They're not the best. I shouldn't say they're not the best whiskey cigar, because they are, but they're so pungent that they really overpower most whiskeys. So just get prepared for the whiskey to get mostly washed out, because they're the way those cigars are made, right, is they hang the tobacco in barns and they have fires going below them smoldering, and they smoke the leaves, right? So the leaves are smoked. So there's this deep smoky flavor in those cigars. It reminds me of, the cigars smell like beef jerky. Like it's this very meaty, smoky, kind of flavor, kind of smell to them. So they're very good cigars, but man, they're pungent.
Drew Estate, yes, I have had a Drew Estate. I'm a big fan of Drew Estate.
That's a Drew Estate you're smoking right there.
Yep, that's what we're having tonight.
You know, I'm gonna have to let this air out for a second, because right now I'm getting like nail polish.
Yeah, I could see that.
I get that a lot, though. You know, a lot of times when I'm doing, when I'm really trying to nose a whiskey, or I'm doing a review or something, or I'm tasting a whiskey to put my notes on it, so when I do the review, I don't sound like a fucking buffoon. I'll sit the whiskey out and let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes, because I've noticed a lot of times when I pour whiskeys right off the rip, I have a hard time nosing anything. I get a very acetone alcohol kind of smell, and it takes a few minutes for the other smells to start kind of coming out.
Plus, you had 15 pounds of Mexican food tonight. So
and you know, and a lot of people get mad because, well, they don't get mad, but a lot of people, you know, I don't taste cigars or whiskey the way you should technically professionally taste them, which is on their own.
Yeah.
I always have one with the other, which can distort flavors a little bit. But my take on it is there's plenty of fucking people out there doing that. If you want that, go watch that. I don't ever smoke a cigar without whiskey or coffee, and I don't ever drink whiskey without a cigar. So why do I care what it tastes like without those? I don't, you know?
Oh man.
I get a little of that dark fruit is coming out in this one now.
Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of that dark fruit coming out of that. A lot of grape.
Yeah,
some real deep, rich grape notes. Speaking of
raisin kind of smell.
Absolutely. So speaking of, you know, Italian grandparents, my Italian grandmother used to make this this dessert where she would throw in a bunch of red wine grapes in a pot and cook them down to the point with a little bit of sugar, cook them down to the point where it got so syrupy and so rich that it permeated throughout the whole house. And then what she would do is dump a bunch of sesame seeds in that same pot. Toast the sesame seeds in that hot kind of, grape, sugary, sweet juice, and then she would pour it out on a plate and let it dry. Then it becomes like a sesame seed toffee candy.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's what this bourbon reminded me of, which is probably why I love it so much. Kind of calls you back to something else. Yeah.
Some of the best bourbons and cigars and all that, or if it brings back, or with me, it's pipe tobacco, right? I smoke pipes sometimes too. People ask me all the time. They're like, do you smoke pipes? I'm like, yes, absolutely. Anything that brings back a little of that nostalgic quality, right? Always kind of gets a little bit of soft spot. You're like, I dig that just because it kind of reminds me of something.
Watch both you guys regularly. Glad to see this live. Hey, thanks for coming in, Stogie Man.
Hey, Stogie Man. What's up, man? Thanks for the support, brother.
I think Joseph Brazo says, has Jeremy ever done the cigar safari at Drew Estate? I've done it twice, and it's the complete bomb.
No, I haven't. Although, I mean, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting past like the grapey, raisiny kind of thing.
All right, so take a sip of it because I'm curious what you're going to get on the palate with this one.
Hold on, let me prep.
Lip smack it.
Little ASMR.
Man, alive, that's good. Whew. Jeremy's lip smacking. The silence is deafening.
What is that? You ever taste a whiskey and I like it. First off, let me just say it's good.
Yeah.
But you ever get a flavor and it whiffs past and you're like, man, that's familiar, but I can't put my finger on what it is?
Oh yeah, it happens all the time. That's why I don't do live. Well, sometimes I do live reviews, but I like to sit with the whiskey for a while because it happens every time. There will be a note that I can't quite pinpoint in my head exactly what it is.
Right.
So, but over time, like a day or even 4 or 5 hours later, all of a sudden it hits me like a truck. Like, oh, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. I almost always have had something a couple times and taken notes of what I got because sometimes it'll take me a while to, again, associate what the hell I'm tasting with what that actually is.
Yeah.
That one was a very familiar. I'm getting a little bit of.
So when I have
this, think this is weird, and you're going to say that sounds gross, but it's actually kind of good.
Don't say Mexican food.
No, I'm getting a little bit of pencil shavings.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
I know that sounds weird, and people are like, "Oh, get the fuck out of here with your." But the smell that you imagine the smell when you're sharpening a pencil, and translate that to flavor.
Yeah,
and I'm getting a little bit of that.
Yeah,
that's weird. And a lot of flavors that I get in whiskey and cigars, people, if you tell people, they're like, "That doesn't sound good," but it is, right?
Mark Royland says, just had the Remus Repeal Reserve. Have you gone back to it after you featured it with the higher end one? Cheers. I have a review of that one coming up. What I have noticed, Mark, is that the batches for the Remus are very different from 1 through, I think they're on their 3rd or 4th one. They're all really different. So the one I have is a complete cherry bomb, and I love it.
Oh.
I think I missed. Oh, Mark Royland also $5 super chat. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that, man.
That's why one of the reasons I love early times. I get a lot of cherry in early times. A lot.
Oh, early times? Oh, absolutely. Wait, you're talking early times bottled and bond?
Yep.
Yeah, that's Brown Foreman. That is their cherry. To me, is one of their signatures.
Yeah, that and banana, right? Banana, cherry.
Yeah, banana for sure.
What's the proof on this one again?
The proof is 118.
Right in my happy spot. My favorite is like
Joseph Brazo. Time to pair the Jephthah with a bad frog. Yeah, I'm not fucking drinking any Jephthah with a cigar.
I
don't think a cigar could save Jephthah.
I've never had Jephthah, but from what all you guys in the whiskey tube space have said, I don't fucking want any of it.
So here's the sad thing about Jephthah, and I've said this before on my channel.
They're good people, right?
They're amazing people. You go to the distillery, the experience, great family, very, very dedicated to their product. But
here's the thing.
Yeah, here's the thing. Now, here comes Dan. Here's the thing.
Well, this came up on a Bourbon Junkies podcast or a live stream, and I probably shouldn't repeat it. Well, because I made a comparison that then turned into something that it wasn't. But because we were talking about Whistle Pig, I'm not a big fan of Whistle Pig.
Me either. The only one that I think is kind of worth it is the 10-year. The 12-year, the 15-year, and all the bullshit $500 special releases that they release, I think, are way overpriced for what it is.
I think the 10-year tastes like grassy ass. I don't.
See, now that you told me though what you prefer, I don't see you liking the Whistle Pig 10.
Right. I don't dig it. So they were making the same argument about Whistle Pig. They're like, oh yeah, but they were such nice people, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, right. Well, I'm not going to make the comparison, but I said a certain person who is kind of a historical figure that's known to be one of the worst people in history. I won't say the name again because whatever, but I said, I'm sure some people thought he was good, but that doesn't mean anything, right? So just because they're good people, they're still making shitty product. Like, I hate that good people make shit sometimes, but sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles, man.
But it's hard to, I've heard them on podcasts, I've heard them on like interviews, and they're so proud of what they made, and it kills me.
Dude, I just got a really nice like bread quality. Almost reminded me of like a cinnamon raisin bread. Because I'm still getting that raisin, but I got a bready kind of note off the nose.
So for me, and this is going to sound weird, with a cigar, the Bellmead brandy casks. So if you took a Twizzler, right?
Okay.
And you melted it down to its like gooiness, a cherry Twizzler,
red Twizzler, right?
Red Twizzler, and you took a raisin or a date and you dipped it in that Twizzler and then you ate it. That's what that reminds me of.
A date. That's a good one because a lot of times I mix up the two because I think a date and a raisin kind of have some similar things, but a date, another good like dark fruit. I'm getting like a breadiness though. Yeah, so MGP. So this is MGP bourbon. This is MGP. That's what Bellmead sources their stuff from, but it's finished for 2 years in that old World War II brandy cask. I definitely get a date. I see your date. I match your date. I see your date. Little pencil shavings. I know that's a weird thing. Yeah. And then you have, here's a good point. My boy says, one of the best rides I've had was a Whistle Pig store pick, 13 years from MGP. Yes. If it's an MGP store pick, Whistle Pig, I'm on that all day. Right. But when it comes to the regular offerings, well, I like the 10-year. The rest of the stuff just doesn't. The 12-year is pretty good, but that's finished in a myriad of different. I'm trying to remember what they finish in. I think it's Madeira. It's like Madeira, red wine cask. I forgot. It's like a triple cask finish on the Whistle Pig. Are you getting like after this, if you take a pull off this, are you getting on the back end like a little bit of like a brownie with nuts on top? Like, you know how you take a brownie sometimes and they put the like crinkled up pecan. How do you say pecan or pecan? I say pecan, but people think that's fucking fancy. So I guess pecan. 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 I'm from the South, so I got to be like, give me one of them pecans. So I get when I was living in New York, I still do it now, but when I meet like a hot Puerto Rican girl, I call them a butter pecan. Butter pecan. Yeah. Oh, look at that girl. Oh, she's a butter pecan. That's what I used to call her. One of my best friends, a guy named Nate, he's actually the younger brother of Rashad Evans, the UFC guy. Okay, cool. He's the older brother. I apologize. Older brother of Rashad Evans. He used to joke around about how Rashad used to kick his ass growing up. He's a very pale-skinned black guy, and he always says, I'm pecan tan. That's how he describes his color, as pecan tan. I like that.
You know what? I think I still like the Mixers Toasted better than the brandy, though. I will say.
I think I do think it was probably an overall better pairing. I still think this is a good pairing. I do think that was a better pairing.
Yeah, the Mixers, I think, with that chocolate finish on it doesn't. Yeah, there is a nuttiness to this that comes out. I don't know if I'm necessarily getting. I'm trying to find the chocolate that you're saying.
Well, I get it in the cigar, right? So do that and then puff the cigar. And then on the cigar, I get like, it turns it into a bready chocolateness. Instead of like a dark espresso kind of chocolate flavor, it turns into more like a bready chocolate.
Yeah, more like the when you're mixing up the, in the bowl that you're going to lick afterwards.
Right. Like brownie batter.
Yeah, like the batter, exactly.
Yep.
I could see that. Definitely go check out Jeremy's channels. Go check him out on Instagram. He has the one channel. I mean, he has a couple, but you have your main channel is Jeremy Siers on YouTube.
Yep.
And you have these different series within that channel, Leaf and Barrel, Man Shit. It's absolutely stellar content, guys. Go check it out if you haven't yet.
Making me blush. Stop it.
Come on. I got to
keep going. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Hey, you're good enough to come on, man. I can't thank you enough. So
and shit, anytime, buddy. I just enjoy hanging out. Dan and them keep telling me I need to do some live streams on my channel at some point, and I will. But it's a different way to interact with people in the community and other YouTubers, other people in the actual community that you don't do when you're filming videos in your house, right? It's just YouTube can be I do YouTube full time, right? So YouTube can be a pretty solitary career because you work with yourself, right? So it's fun for me to get on these live streams and just hang out with some like-minded folks and drink some.
It gives you a taste of, I think if you did live streams, man, you'd fucking do great at it, man.
I that's what Dan keeps telling me, but I don't know. I just keep coming on everybody else's channel. Then all the stress and onus of it is off of me, and I can just sit and have a good time.
So we have Eric Evanson says, what mid-shelf and bottom shelf bourbons go well with a cigar? Again, we mentioned Russell's Reserve goes really well.
Dude, early times is a great sing praise of early times for everything.
Anything Old Forester, because of that chocolate note, even Woodford Reserve seems to go really well with cigar. So if you're looking for a mid-shelf, if you could get your hands on any of the Mictors, even the Mictors regular bourbon, which has a toasted quality to it, I mentioned, goes really well with a cigar. There's a lot of great ones you can get.
Here's a question. When you say mid-shelf, what price range would you consider that?
Anything between about $30 to $60.
So up to 60, you're considering still mid-shelf, right?
Yeah. Right.
I would say that's where I would think.
I mean, maybe the cutoff's 50 for some people for mid-shelf, because 50 is a nice round number.
Right.
But, I mean, if you're spending 50 on a bourbon, you're going to be paying close to 60 anyway, just with tax. So
you can get pretty much any Woodford product in that price range, except for the Masters collection or series.
Yeah, you can go double oaked and get that for about $45-50, which is a great cigar whiskey.
regular Elijah Craig's good with cigars too.
I also want to call out Old Grandad 114, which is a spicy beast, which is great with a cigar.
Another dirt cheap whiskey that the nutty quality of it actually goes really well with some cigars is Evan Williams Bottle and Bond.
Oh, that's a good call out.
I mean, that's like dirt cheap. You can get that shit for like $15 sometimes. I mean, it is cheap.
Yeah, I get it here. I get it here for like $13.
Yeah, dude. And it's got a little bit of a nuttiness to it that really goes pretty nicely with a lot of cigars.
Yep.
See, that's when you know you're drinking good whiskey.
Woo. All right, we got 8. Holy shit, it's been an hour already, dude. God. The fuck. All right, let's go to. You want to try that 4-gate?
That's because I talk too fucking much and it just flies by.
It's all right, man. Let's go to that 4-gate. So this was sherry and rum casks. So let me try to rephrase this so it actually makes sense for you.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a rum company that bought sherry casks. They aged their rum in it. And then this company, 4-Gate, found those barrels and aged 11-year-old bourbon in those casks. So it's 11-year-old bourbon aged in sherry/rum casks, if that makes sense.
Nice. So a regular experiment here. We've got all kinds of different finishes.
Yep.
Mixed with all kinds of different stuff. You can smell the rum in that.
Right? It's the rum is the more overpowering flavor profile in this one.
That's crazy. Like I was just saying that normally right off the rip, I have a hard time getting notes, but like immediately when I sniffed it, I was like, that smells like rum.
This
you ever had Diplomatico?
Oh yeah, and my favorite rum right now though that I've been drinking is the Foursquare.
Oh, dude, I've heard a lot about that. I haven't gotten it, but
dude, I should have sent you some of that shit. Oh my god,
I have actually. Hold on, you did. Look at that shit.
Oh, I did send you Foursquare. Yeah, I thought I did.
Yeah, awesome. I'll try that. I'll have to. How's that? How does it match up against Diplomatico?
So that particular rum, what it does is it as far as when you compare it to Diplomatico, the Foursquare, I don't know, it's just not as cloyingly sweet as the Diplomatico.
Because that shit is sweet. It's like
got way more. The Foursquare has way more of a barrel influence to it, at least that particular one. So nice. I think you'll like it with a cigar. It's good.
Is it pretty readily available? I know it's hard for you to say because it's probably regional, but
it is regional. But I mean, whenever I go to Kentucky, I could find it. I'm not sure if it's available in Florida, but you should check. You should look for it.
Oh, yeah.
They're a little bit on the pricier end, but there's a good range. You could get one for about $60-$70. Then they have ones that go all the way up to about past 200.
That's the one that my buddy Brian over at Privada Cigar Club. I do a lot of content with those guys because I really love what they do. It's a great cigar club. If you're into cigars, he sends out some just fucking hitters. I mean, some great cigars, and it's like $25 a month, and you get 3 really cool cigars every month. They just send them to your door.
Stogie Man says Pikesville used to be my favorite rye until Angels. And also, he likes the sweet stuff. Angels Envy rye is like drinking toasted marshmallows and maple syrup. Archie Tyler, he's drinking some ECBP C919. Hell yeah.
C9. I still can't decide if I like C1919 or B519.
So the Bs usually are the more universally loved ones because they're usually pretty balanced, whereas C is usually the proof monster.
Right.
But the A120 this year is just as good as the C919 and actually drinks a little easier, which is very dangerous.
I haven't seen that around my area yet. I've been looking for it, but things have been off because we haven't been out shopping the whiskeys weekly like I used to because of COVID and whatnot.
Let's see here. Keith Daniel says the Blood Oath Pack 5 rum finish is not too bad. You can really pick up the rum when you let it open. Yeah, absolutely. That particular bottle gets sweeter as it gets some air in it too.
Dude, Keith with a good thumbnail pick there. I like that. That's a good thumbnail pick. Some people
look at that. It's all professional.
Yeah, dude, it looks nice. It's a good picture. He's got a good smile. I'm digging it, Keith. Good job, brother.
Yeah, you at he looks like he's at a restaurant or maybe like about to journey off on a roller coaster or something. I don't know.
Like he's having a good time. It's a good picture.
Michael Klein says you have to live stream, dude.
Michael Klein, you mother. No, just kidding.
Joseph
Klein, very nicely volunteered to help be a moderator for me if I do them. Because I guess you need that for people if they get rowdy in the
every now and then you'll get an asshole. So you have one. Yeah.
He graciously volunteered to do so, which I greatly appreciate, my brother.
Let's see. Monroe Doctrine said, I'm bourbon hunting because nobody is. I've been scoring left and right. Oh
dude, yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm just getting rum all fucking day on this one.
Bourbon Len says the 4-gate is epic. Yeah, it's a great. I have put this bourbon against some of the George T. Stack stuff, and it's always done well. Holy shit!
Exceptional mouthfeel.
Isn't that incredible?
I say that because it's bourbon night always does that clip from Rick and Morty or whatever. It's like
mouthfeel, yeah. And as Dan likes to say mouth experience. I like to say tongue tingliness.
I think none of them. Well, tongue tingliness is probably the safest one. All the other ones sound a little sexual. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a little like it's hard to say it and not it be a little homoerotic. I'm just saying.
It's okay, man. When you're talking cigars and it's just man shit, you can be homoerotic.
Right?
Yeah.
This is very good. It's sweeter, I feel like, than the Belle Meade brandy cask, even though
so to me, similar to the Mixers, This is bringing out, the cigar is bringing out an intense chocolate note in this for me, which it was kind of there before, but not nearly this intense.
No, this is up there with one of my favorites we've had tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, the 4-gate is unfortunately it's only available in Kentucky and Tennessee, I think. I think they're trying to expand. But this is their batch 1 release. And here's the bottle. I'll show you the label here so you could kind of take a quick look at that.
Oh, that's the one that I was talking. Here's the deal with that, right?
Yeah.
So that's expensive shit, right?
It's $200 a bottle, yeah.
Right. They're going to need to step up their label game.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about their label. I mean, it's okay. It looks like this photo right here kills me because I come from the school of graphic design, and this looks like somebody took that.
Right.
Somebody took it with like a Polaroid and then scanned it in the 80s.
And the thing is, when it's fine, but when you're charging premium for a whiskey, like you're charging $200 a bottle, that shit better be Instagram worthy, right? Like it better just give you a semi when you see the bottle.
Yeah, so let's do a comparison. I'll show you a bottle that gave me a semi, and that's this one.
Dude, the fucking Peerless nails it. The Peerless bottles are great.
So look at this label. So this is Old Carter. This is again $200, but look at the label. Look at the label on this.
Oh yeah, see that's good graphic art. It's got good font. It's got the squirrely shit around the outside.
Yeah, it's scroll work. It's got a nice. You can't really see it on the screen, but it's got a really like subtle gradient to it. It's beautiful.
Subtle gradient. It's got that yellow look, so it looks aged, which kind of goes with the whiskey thing. And the other guy, it looks like they printed something on a fucking printer and stuck it to the bottle. Like you just can't do that with a $200 bottle of whiskey. I mean, I'm being picky, but when you're spending $200 on a bottle, you should be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but as far as what's in the bottle, though, you can't deny it.
Well, and that's the other argument, right? To play devil's advocate, it really doesn't matter if it comes in a damn clear bottle with no label, it just is fucking whiskey on the front. Like it's really what's in the bottle that matters. But my argument is always that it's a total experience with whiskey, right? It's the way the whiskey looks, the way the whiskey smells, the way the whiskey tastes, and the bottle art is part of that for me, especially at $200 a bottle.
And that is why I did. So I don't know if I did a video that I posted today. It was top alternatives to Blanton's. Because I feel like people are chasing more what's on the outside of the bottle rather than what's in it.
One of the best bottles in the game.
I do agree that it is probably the most brilliantly marketed bottle on the market.
Sorry, toffee.
Oh yeah, toffee, absolutely. But for people that I felt like that cared more about what's inside the bottle rather than what's outside, that's why I wanted to do that video, because I'm sick of people saying, "Oh, Bland's, it's so smooth," and people are chasing the horses. I'm like, I understand that part of it, but if you just care about what's inside the bottle, then this is what you need to, you could kind of hunt these down. So
here's my argument with Blanton's. It's a really awesome bottle, and it's damn good whiskey, in my opinion.
Listen, it's great whiskey. It's very good, but it's not $160 whiskey. Which
hell no! But
what people are marking it up to. I think
I paid $8 for mine.
Yeah,
it's great.
When it was $40, $45, $50 the most, absolute steal. Kind of like the way McKenna was when it was $35.
Right.
Now everything is, it's skyrocketing, and no matter what the price is, people still want to pay a premium for Blanton's, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah, no, I don't think you should pay the crazy price for it, but I've paid way more for whiskey I liked way less. You know what I mean? It's like that bottle of Whistle Pig I paid 80 or 90 for, and I wouldn't use that shit for Drano.
Yeah, so here's my fucking dirty secret right here. I can get Blanton's here. When it hits Ohio, I can get it for $60, $65. I can get it for retail.
Dude, all day it's worth that.
$60, $65. I have no problem paying that for it, but I bought Jephthah for like the same price. And
that stuff tastes like hot fucking trash. And
it tastes like sneaker sole that was aged in an old basement.
Well, you just described Isla scotches.
Isla scotches have a sweetness to it.
They have that
Jephthah has no sweetness.
It's just fucking nasty.
It's just nasty mothball sneaker sole.
And I say that I love Isla scotches. We were just talking about this before the live. Isla scotches are my favorite scotches, but they do have a very tar, rubber, smoky kind of situation going on.
Yeah, and that was the one when it came to. I only got into Isla scotches a couple years ago, and it took me a while to get past the medicinal quality to it. But then once I got the, once you get past that, your palate gets used to it. Man, there's so much sweetness in there. You're like, where the fuck is this coming from?
Well, you know, and I find that Ardbeg has less medicinal than Lagavulin. Personally, my palate, everybody's is different, but I find Ardbegs to be a little less medicinal, more sweet than Lagavulin. I still love Lagavulin, but
What do you think? What's more sweet than Lagavulin?
Ardbeg.
Oh, I would agree. I would agree with you.
Especially the Oogie, or I say Oogie for short because it's Ugadal. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my favorite of the Ardbegs that I've had. I love the Ugadal. It's my favorite.
My favorite was the Ugadal until I tried the Korvyekin.
Korvyekin I have not had. That's the last of their standard series that I need to pick up a bottle of because their standards are what? 10, Ugadal, Anoa, and Korvyekin, right? Those are their four kind of.
Correct.
I have all of them except for the Korvyekin.
Have you guys? Joseph Brazo says, speaking of Isla, so Joseph Brazo was trying to find me a bottle of Woodinville. So Woodinville is a great bourbon made out in Washington. Just won Bourbon of the Year at the San Francisco Spirit Awards.
Oh wow!
They took their bourbon and they finished it in an Ardbeg cask.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be an interesting dude right there.
So yeah, totally want that. Let's see here. Eric Evanson said, for some reason, I get more burning tire and tar of the Connemara.
I mean, I get the whole burning tire in a lot of the Islas in general.
Yeah, so for me, how it lines up when I first started, I had Lagavulin, which to me was the sweeter peat. Ardbeg, Lagavulin was kind of in the middle. Ardbeg was the sweetest peat. And then for me, Lafroig was more the ashtray peat. More of an ashiness to it, more of a cigarette ash.
I've heard a lot of people say that, which is why I've never had Lafroig, because I'm not interested in that much ashiness without some sweetness to balance it out.
Yeah. So Korvyekin, I think you'll enjoy because that's finished in French oak, which is one of my favorite types of finishing, and it's also barrel strength. So it's really it's awesome.
I've still got to send you some of that Balcones. You are much like Dan and Sean in the fact that you have way more whiskey than I do. So there's not many bottles that I have that I can send you guys that you guys don't already have. But I have a Balcones that's finished in Hungarian oak.
Oh, I remember you talking about that.
And I need to send you a sample of that because it is. I like Balcones in general.
Yeah, me too. Their French oak, their Froke that they release every year is one of my favorite Texas whiskeys in the world.
A lot of people, somebody had asked a question earlier. I don't know if they're still in the stream, but somebody had said, I think we might have blew past the question, but they had asked for a suggestion for Texas, best Texas.
Oh yeah, I do remember seeing that.
I have not had it, but a lot of people swear by the, dude, what's the other big Texas distillery?
Iron Root.
Iron Root.
Yep.
Harbinger. Is that the
one? Iron Root Harbinger. Yeah.
Harbinger. A lot of people swear by that and say, I think it won like some awards and shit. Like a lot of people swear by it.
So here's Trev Wilson. So Trev Wilson, he was so curious at how bad it was. I sent him a sample because he was really curious. And this is his tasting notes. Take pond water, let it seep through the floor beds of your grandmother's 150-year-old house down to the basement, a basement full of old books covered in dust, and then age it for a year.
That's Jephthah?
That's pretty spot on to what it smells like.
That's Jephthah?
Or what it tastes like, yeah, the Jephthah.
Sounds delicious. I can't wait to taste some of that.
I just want to fucking bathe in that. It sounds so good.
I just want to just drink that all day.
All right, so it's 8:47. What do you want to finish the night off with, man?
Well, we've already had the three.
We've had kind of the three. You wanna pour in Isla?
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do an Isla.
All right.
Let me get one from back here. Hold on.
What are you? Let me know what you're getting.
I'm gonna go for my favorite, man, a little Oogie.
You're gonna do the Oogie? All right, I'm gonna grab the Korvyekin and then we can compare.
I'm gonna go a little oogie. I gotta rinse one of these cups out. Hold on.
All right, hold on, guys. Be right back.
This is probably going to be an assault on our senses after after all these nice bourbons, sweet bourbons, and we're going to go just diving into the depth of fucking mermaid's bathwater.
I was going to say something else about a mermaid, but I'll go with bathwater.
Well, what you were going to say has been soaking in that bathwater. I knew where your mind was at there. Oh, boy. All right. Yeah, dude, it's almost, we're going to have to go here in about, I can't believe this fucking thing went that fast.
Fucking thing flew, yeah. The junkies are going on at 9, so.
Oh, God, dude. Dude, man, after all those bourbons and sweet, brandy finishes and all this shit, then you get into some of that Isla.
Yeah, it's kind of fun going from these different types of whiskeys to the other here.
Oh, dude!
Oh my God,
dude, it's so good though. I mean, that is straight Band-Aid, a smoky grill, and Band-Aid is what I'm getting.
Hey, Chris Sprague just jumped in. So what's going on tonight, guys? Thanks for coming in, Chris. Appreciate it. How you doing, man?
What's up, buddy? I mean, dude, that.
So you said you're a fan of Balcones. I just want to Eric Evanson, the Balcones rye, which to me is they do that with they use chocolate malt in that, which just have you had that with a whiskey yet or with a cigar yet? Because the chocolate turns it from a bitter chocolate to a cigar turns it into like a sweet, like you said before, like a brownie chocolate. It's really incredible.
I love it when that happens, man. That's some of my favorite pairings when you have those cigars that by themselves have a little bit of chocolate or a little bit of bitter espresso, or you got like a faint chocolate in the whiskey and then you put them together and all of a sudden it blends into this like
exactly
bready brownie batter situation that's just fucking glorious. I got to prep my palate here.
Oh my God.
I got to prep my palate for blunt force trauma.
For just mermaid ass smacking you in the face.
I mean, just Band-Aids and a grill. Like the smell you get off your grill, like when you go out to clean it, you grilled the day before and you go out and you get it cranked up to burn off all the shit from the day before. God, this is if you took Korvyekin to me is if you took grilled, you took like peaches or apricots, threw it on a grill on top of a ham and smoked it. That's what you get in the glass. Wow, dude.
Ooh. Have a question for Ryan White, and I actually think I missed a question from Donald Rance before. What cigar would you pair with a Jameson whiskey, or just call out what whiskey have you paired many cigars with Irish whiskeys, or are you just not an Irish whiskey fan? That's what that long sigh means to me right now.
Here's the problem, man. I don't like to alienate any countries or places, but I am not a huge Irish or Canadian whiskey fan. Now, I have heard that there's a lot of delicious Canadian whiskeys out there. The problem is we don't get them down here. They keep all the good shit up in Canada. So that could be why I'm not been a huge fan of a lot of Canadian whiskeys. Irish whiskeys, I feel the same way. I'm just not a huge fan of them. I've tried a bunch and I'm like, I don't dislike them. They're not bad. I just don't lean toward them. I've heard, and the one I have not had, and everybody said I should really try it, and I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, is the Redbreast Cask Strength.
Yes. So I was going to tell you that, but yeah, take it from me. Take it from every YouTuber on earth will probably tell you if you're going to pick up an Irish whiskey, that one will change your mindset about it.
Irish whiskeys are just a little bleh to me.
They are, but if you've only had ones, and I'll tell you this, and Donald Rance, if he's still in the chat, we've talked about this continually because Irish whiskey is actually right now, whether you know it or not, is one of the fastest growing, if not the fastest growing whiskey segment in the world right now.
Okay.
It's blowing up. There are a lot of producers making some fantastic Irish whiskeys. See, what I grew up with and what maybe you're used to is these very 80 proofer, 85 proofer Irish whiskeys, not much depth to it.
Yeah, it's just kind of
sweet. There's not much to it, but I'm telling you, check out Redbreast, check out Teeling.
okay. I went to an Irish pub and I had a flight of, oh, fuck, I cannot remember the brand. It was one of the major Irish whiskey. I can't think of it off the top of my head now, but I had a flight of like 4 different or 5 different Irish whiskeys. And
here you go. Keith Daniel, thumbnail guy. Take it from the thumbnail guy. Redbreast Guinness Strength 12.
It's like, with the fucking thumbnail this good, I can't be wrong about whiskey recommendations.
Yeah, exactly. But I would say Redbreast Cask Strength 12. If you want to try, if you're curious about pairing an Irish whiskey with a cigar, that is the one you want to go with.
Everybody said to get that. The problem is, it's like, I think that bottle runs about $80, $90 a bottle in my area, and I've had such a experience with Irishes to this point. I've had a hard time pulling the trigger on $80 on a whiskey that I'm afraid might be. But
yeah,
due to so many recommendations, I'm going to pull the trigger and see. Because here's the thing, I'm like half Irish. Those are my kinfolk, man. That's like,
those are your roots, buddy. Come on.
I should dig it, but and I love Irish people. Like, they're such happy, and I love their accent, dude. I can listen to Irish and Scottish people talk all day long.
Yes. I hurt me ankle.
And dude, it's go great. But,
no, that's the only fucking phrase I could say in an Irish accent. I hurts me ankle.
I just don't love their whiskey, though. It's not that I dislike it. It's just kind of.
Middleton is another great call out. Christopher David. Napa Castle makes really good 12-year-old Irish whiskeys. But I would tell you to try, if you're gonna go down that path a little bit, or at least try to explore it. Try Teeling or Redbreast. Both are good high proofers. Teeling is non-chill filtered, which a lot of Irish whiskeys are.
Right.
So it gives you that better mouthfeel. It gives you that flavor punch. It just tastes different. So I would go with that.
I'm going to get a bottle of it here soon. Once I get out, after speaking of Corona, look at that Corona haircut, man. I shaved my head.
I'm gonna need one soon, man. My hair is fucking all over the place.
That's coronavirus hair right there, buddy. I just took the clippers. I just took the clippers to it. I couldn't take it anymore.
Oh yeah, Will Henderson said all the spots. Yeah, green spot, yellow spot, also really great Irish whiskey option. I'm telling you, man, the Irish whiskey range has really improved over the last few years. It's just so many good ones.
Green spot was the other one I was going to give a try to, but I wanted to try the cask strength first, because I figure if a cask strength Irish whiskey doesn't give me the umph that I need, then there's little hope that any is going to.
Yeah, if Redbreast 12 cask strength doesn't work for you, I don't know if you have hope in the Irish whiskey landscape.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm feeling this little switch over to the Isla, though.
Oh my God, the cigar made that. It made the sweeter notes of the Ardbeg come out more, which is crazy,
dude. And that is why, like, I just took a puff after, and that puff it hit the remnants of the Ardbeg in my mouth, and it just went like candy.
That's exactly what I would say. It's pure. One note that you get a little bit in the Korvyekin, but now it's exploding with the cigar is butterscotch.
And
that's fucking insane.
And that is why I hate to try to push people towards cigars. Some people say they're not healthy, whatever. You don't inhale them. I argue that they're whatever. But whiskey, if you haven't had whiskey and cigar, I don't feel like you've experienced it to its fullness. Because, man, it's so good. The two are so fucking good together. It really is amazing.
Kind of like, look at it like food. Food brings out certain flavors in certain whiskeys, and cigars do the same thing. What What's interesting though about a like chocolate for me, if you have chocolate with a good whiskey,
right,
normally brings out either fruit or brings out a lot of dare I say the word marzipan, a lot of almond.
I said pencil shavings earlier, man. So fucking say whatever you want, bro. Damn the haters, fuck them.
Yeah. So that's what chocolate kind of does. Cigars and food, though, you have certain foods and certain whiskeys, especially desserts. But cigars to me bring out notes in whiskey that you normally wouldn't get just drinking it straight, or also just having it with food.
Right.
Cigars just do something else to a whiskey. So
they do, dude. And here, before we go, I got to tell you this real quick.
Yeah,
this isn't whiskey related, so it's kind of off topic a little bit. But everybody should try this. Right? It's one of my favorite things to do. I don't do it often because I'm not a big beer guy, but it's one of my favorite things. Get a nice Maduro cigar, much like this. Right?
Yeah.
This cigar would work perfect. A nice Maduro cigar. Get you some chocolate covered espresso beans and a Guinness. You're fucking welcome. Dude. Pop a little chocolate covered espresso bean in there, chew it up a little bit, take a swig of that Guinness, take a puff off the cigar.
Hell yeah.
If you don't get fully engorged, then I don't know what to tell you. It's a fucking beautiful experience, man. The three go well together.
King Jack, loving the stream and following Jeremy for long before I found other whiskey channels. Glad to see you guys collaborating. Whiskey and cigars for the win. Hell fucking yeah, man.
Hell yeah. Jack. King Jack. I like it. He's got the old Jack Daniels label.
Actually, his logo reminded me of something I wanted to ask you. What's your feeling? Have you had the Jack Daniels single barrel proof?
Dude, I was just about to say, my dad, now he would absolutely punch me directly in the fucking throat if he heard me say this. I'm not a huge fan of regular old Black Label Jack. It's okay, but like
I agree with you. It's okay for what it is.
Right. I could take it or leave it.
Yeah.
That single barrel though is a special fucking whiskey. Now I will say it's strong as hell. It drinks. It is not one of these ones that you drink and you're like, oh, that's 130 proof, but it drinks like a 110 proofer. No, it's 120 or 130 proof, whatever it is, and it drinks like 120, 130 proof, whatever it is. It'll knock your teeth out. But if you get past that, it's got some great flavors in there.
Yeah. My problem with cigars, it seems I taste them for a week. Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
Well, I've heard people that aren't cigar smokers say that.
Yeah.
What you do is, I was about to get really dirty. Never mind. Let me change that. If you brush your teeth real good and rinse with some mouthwash, see, I don't mind it. I've been smoking cigars so long. I love the flavor of cigars. So it doesn't bother me that I don't taste them the next day. I don't ever give my mouth long enough to get rid of the flavor because I get up and have it with my coffee the next morning. I smoke at least 2 to 3 cigars minimum a day. So it never goes away for me. But if that bothers you, then, maybe drink some Ardbeg after you smoke it. And the flavor of Ardbeg should wash any flavor of anything out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Drink some strong shit. Actually, before we get off here, because I want to get everyone over to the Bourbon Junkies real quick. Anyone out there that's watching, do you have any cigars that you would recommend for people to get started with? If they wanted to.
A good mild cigar, I said earlier, the Monte Cristo Espada is a really good mild cigar. If a good budget cigar, I really like the Brickhouse Maduros. Those are a good, if you want to go in at a low price point, so you're testing out, you don't want to spend $10 or $12 on a cigar because you might not like it. You can get the Brickhouse Maduros for like $5-6. AJ Fernandez New World is another, lower $5 stick. That's a good starter if you just want to try your hand in it. The Olivia V's are really good cigars for a milder kind of smoke if you're not wanting anything too pungent. But see, there's just so many good, these Maduros, these Undercrown Maduros, I always recommend to people. They're great cigars.
Yeah.
There's so many good ones out there, man. It's hard to pick just one, but those are just a few of the ones I tend to recommend to people.
Dude, what can I say? This was a fucking blast.
It was a lot of fun, man. I wish the hour and a half wouldn't have gone by so fast. We're past 9 o'clock. So, But we'll do it again, man. No worries. It's
we'll do it again soon. I'll happy to also join in moderating on your channel if you need.
Awesome,
when you
appreciate it.
Lives. For those of you who are still watching, next week, again, if you haven't heard it, I'm going to have Dr. Patrick Heiss from Wilderness Trail,
Super cool.
master distiller, all around genius, is going to be on the channel. Next week, we're going to be talking what Wilderness Trail is doing, what's coming up soon for them, where that distillery is going, the process that they do, the science above it all. And you guys know I like to get nerdy with that shit. So it's going to be an incredible stream. So that'll be that'll be my regular time next week on Wednesday night. So I just wanted to mention that. Jeremy, thanks for coming on. Tell everybody know where to find you if they haven't found you already.
Jeremy Siers is my YouTube channel, really creative name there. And Jeremy Siers After Hours is my second channel that I do a lot of cigar and other stuff on. Jeremy Siers on Instagram. I pretty much keep everything Jeremy Siers. So if you just search Jeremy Siers on any social media platform, you'll find me. And Jason, thanks for having me on, buddy. And again, thank you for all these samples because there are some definite winners in there. I have a little bit of I'd say a semi, maybe 3/4 hard on over that mixer. So I do appreciate you giving me a wild level of arousal over with you.
When we sign off, we're gonna have a little bit. I want you to try the Foursquare with that. So we'll
keep on have a little more of the cigar.
Thanks everyone for hanging out. Head on over to the Bourbon Junkies. They're going live very shortly. And
Dan and Sean.
Yeah, Dan and Sean, go check them out as you guys normally do. And I'll sign off with this. I always say it's not about the whiskey and the cigar. It's the people you fucking share it with. So cheers to you, Jeremy. And Elliot, thanks for tuning in tonight. I will see you next week. And also tune in next tomorrow where I'll be on live with Scott and my bourbon journey. So cheers. And I will see you guys next week. Take care.